Hi, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit, if this is your first time checking out my platform. On my channel, I discuss various topics from health and wellness to lifestyle and even mental health. So if this sounds interesting to you, if you could do me a favor and please hit the like and subscribe button. Today, I actually wanted to talk about divorce in the black. Just some of the dysfunction and the abusive patterns that I've seen in the movie. So if you haven't already seen this movie, you may not want to watch this video today. Maybe put it on your watch list or reminder list for later on. So because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But anyhow, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the film Divorce in the Black stars, of course, Corey Hardrick as well as Meagan Good. And even in the beginning parts of the film, it's really triggering and even just traumatic because you see a lot of tension and hostility. Basically, the scene opens up to a funeral where Meagan Good's character, her in-law, her brother-in-law has passed away. I believe he was killed. I can't remember the circumstances, but it's very much apparent that Meagan Good's character, her parents, who are facilitating the funeral services and actually have, I guess, provided financial assistance to Meagan Good's in-laws. And when I say Meagan Good, I'm just like going to say her name, but I'm referring to her character when I say her name, just for context. But anyhow, Meagan Good's parents have, provided financial assistance for this funeral, but it's very much apparent that Meagan Good's parents in this film are very much disapproving of her spouse as well as the in-laws. And a lot of it has to do with how the family treats Meagan Good's character. And so that implodes in the film. You see that just within the first 10 minutes of it. I mean, they're taking, the in-laws end up taking the brother-in-law's body out of the casket. And it's, just like a dramatic scene. But as you fast forward, you see just a lot of the dysfunction and the emotional abuse that Meagan Good's character endures, not only from her spouse, but also from the in-laws as well, because they're also emotionally abusive. And like, for example, later on in the scene, you see Meagan Good trying to meet with her husband after basically the brother-in-law has been buried, and how rude and disrespectful Meagan Good's husband is towards her, and how he speaks to her, and how he basically leaves her at the in-laws' house, doesn't even communicate with her that, hey, he's going to go to a bar to hang out with his brothers, says nothing to her. It is just, again, it's like, Meagan Good's character is basically portrayed as like an emotional punching bag for the spouse, that he feels entitled to disrespect her, treat her any kind of way, and it's acceptable, among the in-laws as well. Now, in some of my previous videos, I've talked about domestic violence, abusive relationships, signs to look for. And you see a lot of the signs, even in this film, Divorce in the Black, with Meagan Good's character as well as Corey's character. Because you see how he gaslights his wife, he's emotionally abusive with her, even physically abusive. And there's a point in the film where it's obvious that Corey's character gets pleasure out of humiliating Meagan Good's character, because there's a point in the film where I guess he decides that he no longer wants to be with her. Again, it's this cycle of power and control with the character, I should say, where he humiliates her in front of her friends at a restaurant and tells her, basically screams it out loud, that he no longer wants to be married to her and he wants a divorce. And it's obvious he did that intentionally. The way he went about it, he did it on purpose to make her feel bad, to make her feel like nothing. And this is a pattern that can be seen in real life. And I recommend, taking a look at some of those videos that I previously posted. I'll even post the links in the description box below in case you want to check out those other videos. But you see this bad pattern that Corey's character exhibits in the film towards his spouse. And again, it's all about power and control. Like basically, we're going to end this relationship when I decide we're going to end this relationship, and it's going to be on my terms. In the film, you see how emotionally fragile Megan Good's character is because she tolerates a lot of abusive behaviors by her spouse. Even when her parents try to advise her and tell her, this isn't a healthy relationship, and she's like, you know what, I want to stay in this relationship, I want to stand by my man. Even though her parents, in the film, they're very religious and of course support marriage, they tell her, hey, your marriage is not like our marriage. Your marriage basically is an unhealthy one, and it's not one that you should be in. But she doesn't take heed of that. And that's common a lot of times with victims when friends or family members try to advise them or, are trying to look out for them for their well-being when they see an unhealthy relationship. A lot of times victims won't take heed of that. That's when they'll be more likely to cling even further to their significant other, because it's like you and I against the world. Everybody wants to see us break up and be apart. That's how a lot of times victims will perceive when people come to them and try to tell them, hey, you know what, this isn't a good relationship to be in. And so you see that in the film as well. So throughout the film, you see a lot of times how Megan Good's character is so emotionally drained and emotionally fragile because of the abusive relationship she was in with her spouse. And it isn't until her spouse walks away from her and wants a divorce does she begin to start to work on herself and self-reflect. And in the film, one thing I think that was problematic, and this isn't really a critique of the film, this video that I'm doing, but I do want to mention this, I think was problematic, is that you see Megan Good's character while she's going through the divorce process and, basically recently divorced, that she jumps into another relationship with another person. And I don't think that was the best decision, for people who have exited abusive relationships. That's the point in time where you really need to sit and work on yourself and maybe even go to therapy and kind of process things and really reevaluate your self-worth, your core beliefs that you have of yourself. Because core beliefs a lot of times can contribute to people staying in abusive relationships when you feel like you're not worthy, no one else will want you, so this person has to love me, and I'm just gonna try to make it work in this bad relationship. And so there was no processing, I feel, overall in the film of allowing Megan Good's character to really work and be solo by herself and kind of work through why she was in a relationship of that nature. And it's not, when I say that, it's not victim blaming, but a lot of times victims do need to heal. When you've been in an emotionally and physically abusive relationship, you need to heal. You need time to grow and just overcome that whole traumatic process that you've survived. And so, there is one good thing in the film that I seen where the parents, try to process with Megan Good's character, and they tell her, hey, you were in an unhealthy relationship. We never modeled that type of behavior to you growing up. Where a man is abusive to their spouse and speaks disrespectful to their spouse. And there is a clip in the film where they show her multiple videos where she's unhappy, scenes where either her in-laws were disrespectful to her or her spouse was not treating her right. But again, just in reality, that when a person is coming out of an abusive relationship, it's important for you to be able to get that healing process in, to take that time for yourself and not jump into another relationship, because you really need to understand the importance of boundary setting, and that goes hand in hand with positive core beliefs. When you are worthy, you have no problem in establishing boundaries for yourself and not tolerating disrespect in a relationship. So there was other notable scenes in this film, but one that I would like to highlight was how Corey's character escalated in his violence once he seen that he was losing control over his former spouse, that he couldn't manipulate his spouse like he used to. And that's very common in real life in abusive relationships. You see that, whether it's the woman who's abusive or the male who's abusive, or if it's a same-sex couple, whatever the case may be, you see that that dynamic, that it becomes even more dangerous for the victim when they're actually trying to leave the relationship or have left the relationship, because now that abuser sees that, hey, I don't have power and control anymore, and they can't cope or deal with that. I look forward to reading any comments you have in regards to this video or even just the film in general. And if you could please do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like and subscribe button, as well as if you could share this video with anyone you know of that may be interested in this type of content, that would be much appreciated. And also too, I just wanted to thank my new recent subscribers. I have noticed the increase in subscribers, and I hope that that continues on this channel. And until next time, take care.